Good day. I'm sitting with my Yule log, the remnants of it from last year, sitting in front of our altar to the season. I'm gonna stick this back here so I can put this down and share a little bit with you. The end of the season always brings so much for me that I basically want to stay in bed all day and just gestate and just go deep and do nothing with my head and do nothing with my body and just stay in this deep gestation. Basically like a bear. I would like to go and hibernate and be in a cave. Not to get away, which is my usual MO, is like wanting to get away. But really to gestate. There's so much that starts to come into my spirit. And so one of the things that it's hard for me then to get out anything. And one of the things that I've been wanting to get out is this thing I've been learning about emotions versus feelings. And I've been doing feelings work as a social work and a therapist for years. And I never really sat with this difference between emotion and feeling. And I love the overly used, for me anyways, it's not overly used. Emotion is just energy in motion. So label it whatever feeling color you want. Label it sad, angry, the feelings wheel and the colors associated. Label that energy whatever color you want. It's energy. And it's at play. It's in motion. And if it's not at play and it's not in motion and it's stuck, it's still moving, but it's moving like this. So anyways, I love that concept of energy. Energy's always in motion. Even if we're trying to strangle it, even if we're trying to repress it, cage it, it's still moving. Whether we're letting it freely flow or whether we're making it vibrate and now it has this charge and it's packed, right? And then there's feelings. And I guess I've never really spent a whole lot of time in feelings realm, kind of like meditating on feelings. Until I read Diana Richardson's book, Tantric Orgasm for Women, and this will be coming in later videos as I explore this personally, the relationship between clitoral orgasm or peak and valley orgasm, different types of orgasm, and their relationship to our energy body, emotion, and feeling. And so what I've learned from my own gestation of reading her book and paying more attention to feelings are more related to sensation. What is alive right now in the moment? And if it's alive right now in the moment, there's going to be probably a sensation related to that feeling, because it's real, live, current. It's actually happening in the present now, in the moment. And what I'm learning from Diana Richardson is that emotion is bigger. It's more raw, it's older, it's something that's packed in, or coming from somewhere out here, or coming in from out there. Whereas feelings are just true, and they're like a sensation, like on your skin. And feeling can be a sensation that's like, oh, whoa, oh my gosh, that sensation was, really, that feeling was so visceral. And it's like anger, and what it can do is touch emotion, stored energy. So the feeling can alert you, the sensation can alert you that it's there, and then also bring you into a deeper with this like kind of awareness and with this like self practice, this feeling sensation is now bringing to my awareness that there's like, oh my gosh, there's a strong energy there. And that energy doesn't really quite match the fact that I just stubbed my toe. Like, this is an energy that's like a 10, and stubbing my toe is a 2. Now, if you've got a lot going on, a lot of stressors in your life, and like maybe there's other things happening in your environment, maybe stubbing your toe already is environmentally at an 8. And so it is just a sign of like, oh my gosh, sit down. You're exasperated. You're stressed out if your response to stubbing your toe is a 10. It could also be that you're walking around, nothing's happening in your space, there's no stress currently active, and you stub your toe and you have sorry, this is such a silly example. Maybe we'll go into a more gritty example. And you stub your toe and everything's fine, but you have a level 8 reaction. That's like, okay, that is a feeling that's like, I feel pain. Or let's say your partner says, okay, this is a more gritty example. Let's say you're walking around, everything's fine, and then your partner says something to you that's just a little off color. It's just a little like not quite in alignment with the moment. You're just like going along your business, and they kind of say like, like a little bark. And that's like a 3, a little bark, maybe. Maybe for you, a little bark is always a 7, and that's a whole other story. But it's, it's a 3. It's like, oh, okay, you're human. I get it. You're having a mood. And your reaction is an 8. So it's like, oh, okay. The 3 is like, okay, I feel that. I feel that you're in a mood, and I can nurture myself. I can nurture that surprise or that shock. I can nurture that. Whew, okay. Sensation of shock. Okay, let me go a little deeper with my breathing. All right. The feeling of shock, the sensation of shock in my body is, back down to a 0. And now there's the example I'm getting to, that it's a 3, and you feel that feeling of shock, and also a spike to an 8. Like, oh my God, now I feel unsafe. I don't know if you've ever met someone who's like, they go from being shocked or surprised at a comment you made to, oh my God, I'm unsafe. Like, oh, I can't be around you, or oh, I have to run from this situation. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that's wrong with that is if we follow that 8 as a primal body-based truth sensation, and be like, oh my God, this person is unsafe for me to be around. I can't live with them. No. What happens here is you had a level 3 situation, a level 3 feeling and sensation that then touched stored emotion, that touched an energy at play, a bigger like something, and it spiked you to an 8. And so this is feeling and emotion. Emotion is something much bigger than the moment, is what I'm gathering. And I'm not saying this with a capital T truth. I'm just moving through the wisdom that's available, because if you have a feeling and it's not this big energy at play, we've got these bodies that are so quickly available for us to just transmute something. We have these mouths, all these languages to say, hey, I feel shocked. Whew, okay. And I have this body, let me use this body, let me use this breath. All right. And say to your partner, oh, I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised to hear you speak that way. But now I'm okay. I've been able to let that feeling flow out of my mouth, and maybe you don't need to say it. Maybe you just let it flow out through a breath. And now that feeling doesn't go inward and get stuck. Because there's another thing is I'm not nurturing myself, I'm not speaking up for myself, and every single level 3 builds up over time. And now I've got resentment. And resentment would be an emotion because I've let feelings and sensations over time just not be nurtured, and I don't speak up, I just pack them in. And now it's like, you know, that kind of cliche marriage situation where it's like, well, you've just been a jerk my whole life to live with, and you've made me feel, right? Now there's no self-responsibility. You've made me feel like I have all this resentment, and maybe now I'm leaving you or whatever. When it is our responsibility, when we have a feeling, especially in close quarters and community, that when we have a feeling, we bring awareness to nurture it, and then also maybe bring some discernment about the words that come out of our mouth, so that you and that person can live in harmony, so that there's not always this like, wow, I just always am receiving this person's bad mood, and I'm not able to connect to it in my truth of feeling surprised or shocked. Or I've been able to nurture myself and love myself and soothe myself through it enough that I'm totally okay. Like I'm all right. In 5 years and 10 years, I'm all right with the fact that this person I'm living with all the time sometimes is snappy when they're in a bad mood. And I'm not building resentment. I'm not storing up energy. There's none of that's at play in me, emotion. What's at play in me is this feeling. And I've been able to work with it, nurture myself, or speak up and connect. Whatever it is, it's about making connections for the feeling to just phew, and not turn into an energy, a power. And sometimes, and this is the whole point of the journey, we need energy to be stored up. And that might be, oh my God, over time, this person is actually taking out their feelings on me. I'm doing my work, I'm working with the feelings, and they just keep coming at it, and it feels like it's getting stronger and stronger, and it feels like it's happening more and more often. Now I'm having this residual, I'm nurturing myself, I'm witnessing my feeling, I'm releasing it in the moment, or I'm speaking it in the moment, but this is still happening. And now I'm starting to get a residual storehouse of energy. But because I'm loving myself through it, I'm nourishing myself through it, I'm bringing awareness to it, it's not turning into resentment. It's not being stuffed all the way down. I'm just noticing that it's building up. There's an energy building. And that might be an energy to tap into to really drive home a hard truth with this other being, force, usually another human in your space, to say, listen, like this behavior is increasing. It's increasing in quality and in quantity, and I'm doing everything I can to nurture myself, but listen up to me. I'm experiencing this, and it's for me, like for my practice, it's over my capacity to meet this as you're increasing in your moods and your snapping. This is increasingly. It's like it's now I'm exasperated. I'm full. I'm fully saturated. You could help me, right? So this is not about you. Your feelings or emotions are not ever about you need to do something. It's about I'm letting you know, oh wow, like there's this a real thing inside of me, and now I need help. And here's how you could help me. Maybe there's somewhere else you can go when you're in a mood. Maybe there's a greater awareness that you could hold, so that those snapping, quick, sharp words are not always coming at me, because I'm struggling to be able to transmute and gestate that. And again, so it's not like this is what you need to do because there's something wrong with you. I mean, there's another space to like open up. Hey, I'm really noticing you're struggling, but this is a big deal to be able to, like, I'm really noticing you're struggling. Would you like to share with me or talk about what's going on? And now I'm going to just be, this is not about my feelings or my emotions. This is just about having a space for you to come into deeper awareness. There's that. But as far as loving yourself and nurturing yourself over time and using some of that energy that starts to store up, and you're like, oh, like this is getting harder and harder for me to let go of this person's like snide comments. It's the importance of that typical I statement that you may have learned in elementary school. I feel, I'm experiencing, this is what's happening for me. And you better make sure that you're also doing your own work. And it's not just like right away. It's, oh, I feel a certain way when you make snide comments at me. No. It is our responsibility to respond to stimuli in our environment. And the first go-to is not someone else doing something to help you. It's you doing something to help you. So before you go to I statements, it's imperative for your energy, body, emotional journey on this planet to be going inward and saying like, wait, where can I resource myself internally? Where do I maybe need, actually, this is touching some kind of emotion. Where do I need to get support and help for this outside of what's happening first? So this is a journey, right? And you can certainly bring, if this is like an intimate partner, you can certainly bring them on board with this and say, hey, like, just so you know, I'm struggling with some patterns that happen, like when you come home, there's these comments and it's hard for me. I just want you to know that I'm getting support for that because I'm having feelings that are turning into emotion, and I don't want that energy at play between us. So I'm getting help and I'm getting support. There's that. Or you just do it. You just go ahead and do it and take care of it. And you find that, oh my gosh, wow, I can love myself and I can love my partner through his moods. And you know what? It's really contained. It's really just within the first 15 minutes that he comes home. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking very heteronormative here, just putting myself in my gritty example. And then it's fine. He gets over it. And maybe one day we'll address it. But really, it's a practice for me that every day I can get my practice sharper and quicker with feeling the feeling as a sensation in me and releasing it. So much to the point that when that comes in, I now have a system and I'm aware, but it doesn't hit me viscerally. I don't necessarily have a feeling. I have a love response. I have a way that I can meet him that actually it expedites his drain off from whatever stress of the day or whatever it is. Or maybe it's like you respond with such kindness and love because you've nurtured yourself that he breaks down and starts crying and is like, oh my God, this is a pattern from my childhood. My dad was like this and I've been doing it to you. I'm so sorry. Oh, you haven't been doing anything to me, right? I am not a victim to this. You've been providing me a beautiful opportunity to nurture myself and love myself so much that I've been able to be an outpouring of love for my environment. Thank you, right? And now we can get into shadow play and dark magic, if you will. If I can use that term kind of very lightly here, is now we're moving in shadows and in the dark spaces of connection with other people's, and we're just hopping into the flow of magic and love, and it's moving in the darkness. And that's why I say it lightly, because you can't just hop into the flow of shadow and dark work with someone unless you are anchoring yourself in yourself and in a love response. Oh my gosh, my shirt, love over fear. I didn't even purposefully wear this. I just rolled out of bed in this. So anyways, I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up now, because this is longer than I intended. But there's my example, and there is some processing work. Happy to work with you. I have moved into doing body work. As you can see, sensation and primality and the wisdom of the body are so important to me. But I'm still providing mental health coaching or therapeutic services, talking. But I also really encourage you to pursue body work, whether it's with me or someone else, because our bodies can speak this language that's just beyond anything that this can do. But both are necessary and important in our lives. So I encourage you, whether it's with me or someone else, to seek out body, mind, space to be held, and go deeper in these things, and get your journey on this earth really, really rich with all the light and dark that is here to offer us a dynamic, dualistic experience. All right, merry Yule time, and see you next time I get inspired to come out of my cave.